Pull out for Sheffield United.
Right going to the near post. Shearer coming in with this.
Kyle Walker. 1-0 Manchester City. Georgia Samaras. Ireland! Terrific goal by Manchester City!
White, he's onside and Manchester City have the lead.
Gets the return of Dickov.
Good afternoon, everybody. We hope you are having a lovely Saturday, and thank you so much for joining us here on We're Not Really Here. City are sitting pretty at the top of the table, and it's certainly been a brilliant start to 2021 for us. And of course, Sheffield United did us a big favour, beating Manchester United at Old Trafford in midweek. Thank you very much, Sheffield. But let's hope that's their only successful away day in Manchester this week. So, because we think there might be a bit of a tasty Yorkshire versus Lancashire type battle going on, we had to get two guys to join us on the sofa today that we knew could handle themselves. So I am very happy very happy to be joined on the sofa today by Paul Dickov and Richard Dunne. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How have you been, Paul? All well?
Yeah, fantastic, especially after a couple of results this week. I was winning 5-0 and then top of the league, back where we belong.
Absolutely, because yes, the United fans that I know were certainly saying we'll be back at the top of the league on Wednesday night, so I think they were a little bit shocked when they were.
Yeah, they've been quite quiet this week, haven't they? The United fans, they've crawled back into their hole again.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what you got to love about this show. There's absolutely no, we're just biased and we're happy about it. And we know that you love it as well. So it is 2 o'clock. We do have a 3 o'clock kickoff today on a Saturday against Sheffield United. And the team news is out. So we're going to straight away, top of the show, let's take a look at our team for today. And there is quite a few changes. So for those of you that are doing fantasy football, you need to pay attention right now. So our starting 11 for today. In goal is Edison. Then we have Zinchenko, Diaz, and then Aymeric Laporte starts, and Kyle Walker. And then in midfield, we have Fernandinho, Ilkay Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and then up front, Phil Foden, Ferran Torres, and Gabriel Jesus. And then on the subs bench for today is Zach Stefan, John Stones, Benjamin Mendy, João Cancelo, Eric Garcia, Rodri, Bernabe, Riyad Mahrez, and Raheem Sterling. So I think that is 5, maybe 6 changes from the team that beat West Brom midweek. So lots of names coming in there, Richard. When you see the team there straight away, what is your instant reaction?
He's obviously going to change the team around, a bit of rotation, giving players a bit more minutes. Certainly for Laporte, he's not started a game for a while, so it's a great opportunity for him. And I think for Torres and Jesus too, Torres in particular, he started really well and he got ill and he got injured and he sort of dropped off. So it'll be interesting to see if he can recapture his form and start scoring goals again. And the same also for Jesus. He's probably crying out for a goal now. He's running his socks off. He's doing everything but score, and it'd be nice for him to get off the mark and get back onto a run of scoring goals.
Yeah, and looking at that team, it looks like Jesus will probably be playing sort of centrally, much more of a traditional sort of striker role, whereas he's been playing out on the left quite a lot when he's been playing.
Yeah, he's been rotated around in terms of positions on the pitch, and I think it works well for City and certainly for Jesus when he is that number 9. Dickie will know a lot more, but sometimes when you're desperate for a goal, you start moving, trying to chase the ball all over the field. And when you're watching Jesus, he seems to be moving around too much instead of being in that sort of danger zone where Dickie knows the goals come from.
Yeah, and I just think he wants to be involved all the time, doesn't he? I think especially when he's been out the team. He probably looked at with Sergio being out as his big chance to get a run of games. Unfortunately, he picked up COVID and he's been ill. And I think the last couple of games he's been feeling his way back in. He's usually high energy. We know that all the time, and it looked as if fitness-wise it's maybe affected him a little bit. So hopefully he's been back a few weeks now. He'll be back to his best.
Yeah, because you certainly can't fault his work rate. You know, he works so hard for the team whenever he plays, but it does feel like perhaps it is a confidence thing. As a striker yourself, obviously, Paul, did you ever go through those patches where you'd not scored?
Loads. Majority of my career I had that. Yeah.
How did you pull yourself out of it?
I think, look, you've just got to be mentally strong about it. You know, I know it's the N word at the minute, but you know, you can't change what's happened. You know, if you'd missed chances the week before, or even if you've missed a chance in the game, you just can't dwell on it, you know. And I just used to think, well, you know, I was very lucky that I got brought through at Arsenal with Wnrh, who was the most positive guy in the world, and he would say he would miss 9 chances in the game, but the next one he would always get, and he would drum that into all the young kids that were there. And basically, you can't change it. You know, you've missed it, so if you're going to let it play in your mind, it's going to affect you throughout the game and throughout games to come. Whereas if you think, look, that's gone now, I've missed it, but make sure you're going to get the next one. And strikers are lucky, I keep saying it all the time. You know, Dunne could make a mistake at the back or weaves in goal, and it cost you. We could miss 9 chances in a game, score 1, win 1-0, and you're the hero. So that's the way you've got to think of it.
Yes, the absolute hero as well, yes. And looking at the back there, Dunne, I straight away noticed, obviously, Walker coming in. Sheffield boy obviously scored in the game that we beat them earlier in the season. He was having an amazing season before, I forget if he was injured or if we were doing rotation and Cancelo came in, and in my opinion is the best fullback in the league at the minute, which is unfortunate for Walker because he was having such a great season. Do you think this is purely a rotation, just giving everybody a chance, keeping everybody fit?
Yeah, I think Kyle Walker's a super player. He's had a great season, and when he plays, he never lets the side down. You know, he's just, like you say, he's unfortunate. Cancelo's come in and sort of revitalised the team. He's given them another option in how they can play, a different style of playing, and he's more comfortable in that midfield role that he's taken up at times. But Kyle Walker, we've seen him for the last however long, and he's so quick. His recovery's brilliant, and he's a defender that you can rely on. Now, I think maybe when he was younger, he was someone who probably switched off at times, and people doubted it. But you can see that he's progressed, he's learned, he's become more experienced, and he's an asset to any team.
It's a similar situation for Laporte as well, because obviously we know how badly we missed him last year. Last year when he did play, he was insane, you know, arguably the second best probably defender in the league when he was playing. He's had an injury this season. Stones has come back, Diaz has come in, formed this unbelievable partnership, and then you've got this world-class defender that suddenly can't get in the team. Were you ever in a position where you picked up an injury and you were out the team, and then you were sort of fighting to get your place back, and similar to Dickie, how do you do that?
It's very difficult if you drop out of the side because of an injury or a lack of form or whatever it is. It's down to yourself, and it's about almost not worrying, like Dickie's saying. Don't worry about it too much. Go back to the basics and do what you've done to get where you are to start with. Do them and build your confidence back up slowly. It's a different situation with Laporte. He's come out of the team. He's not been playing bad. He's just unfortunate with an injury, and then John Stones and Diaz have created this partnership which to me looks like the best around in Europe, in the Premier League, wherever. So he will have difficulty getting being a first 11 player, I think, for a while, and today is an opportunity for him because he does give that balance of being a left-footed centre-back. It gives them something different, and he's again another player that if he plays, you know you can rely on him, you know his qualities, and it's a great opportunity for him today to go and show that he's back to his best and he's ready to start whenever he's needed.
And how lucky are we this season to have 3 world-class centre-backs? I mean, we taking your right arm for that last season, Dickie, seriously. When you look at the team and the changes today, you thinking as well, it's rotation, it's giving everybody a chance, keeping everybody fit, and we're also blessed that we've got world-class players, 2 world-class players, 3 world-class players in positions.
And that's possibly what we did miss last season. You know, when Laporte was out, that was a position we really struggled in. Talking about Kyle, you know, Kyle had to fill in there at times. There was no real partnership that's in there. And saying it's a big chance for Laporte today, he'll want to come in and impress now. You know, going back to what Dunne said before, when you've been out injured or you're out of form and you're not in the team, you've just got to make sure that you're ready when you get your chance. And Kyle will be the same today. You know, talking about Laporte, Diaz and Stones, we've got the 2 best fullbacks in the Premier League, I think, and Kyle Walker and Cancelo. You know, and I'm with you. I think Cancelo's probably been our best player this season consistently. You know, he's filled in at left back, right back. He's played in midfield. He's played all over the place. But Kyle, for me, I think in the big games, when it comes towards the end of the season, I think his experience and his know-how, I think he'll be the one that will start there more often than not.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just, like you say, we're just blessed at the minute to have so many brilliant players in different positions. And you see a team with 5 changes, and you don't think it's not a weakened sided by any means. It's just a different team, and we're lucky to have that this year. Now, we saw at the opening of the show some highlights from games against Sheffield United gone past. We know that we've definitely had some tasty games against them in the past, and we'll certainly get onto that. This gentleman has, of course, scored against them, as he quite often has done in the teams that we play against. But they'll be feeling quite positive this week, gents. Obviously rock bottom of the table. It's been a really difficult start to the season for them, and then they went along to Old Trafford. If United had won that game, they'd have gone back to the top of the table, and they went and pulled out a serious result there. Did you watch the game? Have you seen any highlights? Can you tell us, do you think that did Sheffield United play well, or were United rubbish?
United have a problem because Man United have a problem because they keep conceding goals and thinking they can come back all the time. And as it gets now into this sort of stage of the season, teams are fighting for their lives, and if you give them a head start, it's going to be very difficult. And Sheffield United caught them out the other night. Sheffield United are a very good side. Last year they were fighting for Europe the whole season basically, and unfortunately, since the lack of supporters almost in the ground has hit them hardest, it seems. But players-wise, they're still a good side, and they started off. They've had really, I suppose, a lack of confidence in what they've been doing. But the FA Cup run has started to give them that bit of confidence. They started to understand how to win games again, and like I said, they've still got a good squad like they had last year, and they'll be fighting again. And that's why I don't think today is going to be so easy, because they have the confidences back up. They still have a strong squad. They'll fight for every ball today, and they'll make it difficult for City.
And they'll know as well that Fulham is playing West Brom today as well, the other sort of teams that are down there as well. So they'll probably see this as a great opportunity for them to, confident. Nobody expects them to win. The teams around them playing.
I think that the result against United during the week has given them a bit of a free hit today. Because going into these 2 games, I think you've got Man United away, Manchester City away, the fans, even the players, if they're being honest with you, would think we might not get any points out of this. So the fact that they've got 3 points makes them come into today totally relaxed. Chris Wilder, you seen Chrissy in his press conference yesterday, he was laughing, he was joking, it's the most relaxed he's been for ages, because they weren't expecting to get the 3 points. But the one thing about Sheffield United, if you look at the results and you've watched their games over the season, they're in it all the time. Nobody's really putting 3, 4 and 5 past them. It's 1-0, it's 2-0, they're getting chances, they're missing chances, they're conceding late goals. So they'll be super confident today coming into the game.
Their second goal, the United defending for their second goal was, you must have been watching that, Richard, just shaking your head. It was I'd say it was schoolboy stuff, but that would be disrespectful to schoolboys. You wouldn't expect that there's any chance that we're going to give them opportunities like that today.
No, and that's been one of the backbones of City's season this year. I think we conceded 13 goals over the course of the season, and that's down to eliminating those errors that probably have happened in previous seasons. And I think when you have a centre-back like Diaz, whose first thought when he walks out on that pitch is, I'm going to keep a clean sheet, and if the ball's there to be cleared, he will clear it. He's not afraid to be drawn into that thing of, I'm a defender first and foremost. After that, well, then if I can play and I've got time, great. But I'd be surprised the way City have defended in recent months, that if they were to give up as sloppy as chances of what Man United gave up in midweek.
I think Pep will be on them today as well, and even his press conference yesterday he said that he was worried about the game today, which he never usually says that. So I think early doors he's planting a seed in the players' head that, look, just because we've won 5-0 and it's Sheffield United, we need to be on it today.
He's very respectful, though, isn't he? Generally, in all games, similar to before we played Cheltenham Town, he was very respectful in his interviews as well. Do you think the fact that they beat United, will that be on anybody's mind? Do you think the fact that they beat on currently our nearest rivals?
Yeah, I think they'll. The players will look at it and think, we have to give them the respect that they deserve, because if we're not at it 100%, that's the thing they can do. And even going back to the games, there were really close games last season, especially the one at Bramall Lane and the one earlier on in the season, the odd goal. And Pep keeps talking about how he loves how they play, how they're so difficult to play against. So, but it's like every game, the players will be so well prepared for it and know what to expect.
And of course, as we said before, that defeat for United stopped them jumping us, so it kept us at the top of the table. We've been underdogs for most of the season, I think, partly because obviously we started later, but so did United. And then we were, 8th, 9th at one point, and this incredible run has taken us to the top of the table now. Do you think the players prefer to be leading the pack or to be sort of the plucky underdogs?
I think the track record that Pep's got, he's always sort of led from the front with his Barcelona and Bayern Munich team, so he understands that situation really well. And it's one of those, if you're at the top of the table, you've got a game in hand and you're playing before the team below you, you can go and win. You're 4 points clear straight away, and it puts the pressure on the second team straight away. And Man City are really adept at doing that, at going and winning games and putting pressure on other teams. And they don't seem to focus, and it was like people were worrying and panicking maybe because they were 10 points behind, but you never hear that in coming out of the club. It was just a case of, we'll just go and win our next game, we'll get on a run and it'll all work out, and it has really. So I don't expect that there'll be any extra pressure on them now at the top of the table.
And we can see the players coming out now to start training. We can hear them on the pitch. We're so blessed to be able to hear them coming out as well. Pep's been playing down any title talk, Paul. He's not having, we're exactly halfway through the season for us now, and he was just not having it in his press conference. As a fan as well, I feel very calm this season, like I'm enjoying every game as it comes, not looking too far ahead, not getting cocky, not taking anything for granted, and just really enjoying the fact that we're playing incredible football. Do you feel the same at the minute, or are you looking ahead yet?
I'm looking ahead. I'm not going to lie to you, and I have been over the last sort of month, or just purely because of the football that we're playing, and a lot of the stuff about how we're approaching games now and during games reminds me a little bit of a couple of seasons ago. Where, maybe at the start of the season, if we went 1-0 up, we still looked a little bit vulnerable and a little bit nervous. Now, if we go 1-0 up and 2-0 up, we want to get 3, we want to get 4. And the last sort of month has showed that with the goals we're scoring, and they're not just happy winning 2-0. A couple of seasons ago, 10 minutes to go, teams are winning 2-0. They would take their foot off the gas a little bit and take the 3 points. The hunger that's in the Man City team, they want to go and get more goals all the time, and that sort of ticks a massive box for me, because the mentality in the team is that they want to send a message out to everybody else.
I feel like I've got a split personality sometimes. Like, part of me is like the 2021 City fan that's watching world-class players play absolutely incredible football and we're top of the Premier League. And then I've got the growing up me that was like, typical City, anything could happen. And it's really hard to shake that kind of, historical feeling. But we should, shouldn't we? We should.
Yeah, we should. I know what you mean, though, because I got a message off one of my friends, a City fan at half-time, at the West Brom game. We're 4-0 up, and he's like, if they get 1, they're back in it. and that's the sort of attitude, because I think they're that used to watching us all the years ago, that anything could have happened at the time. But no, I just think that, and going back a bit, whether leading from the front or from behind, we've done both. We chased down Liverpool a few seasons ago. And caught, I think, 7, 8 points behind in February time. And then obviously we've ran away with it by being at the top. And the players in the squad, even the starting line up today, there's only Ruben Diaz and Ferran Torres that have not won the league. Everybody else in the squad and on the bench has won the league, so they know what it takes, whether it's having to chase the pack or whether to lead from the front.
Like that, yes, there's experience throughout, so whatever happens, we've got the experience there. And do you know what, I'm totally with your friend, and I get the feeling that he probably wasn't joking, and that he was definitely...
He wasn't joking at all, he was being serious.
Yeah. Yes, and you mentioned, of course, watching you guys back in the day. Going back in the day a little bit, Paul, can you remember at all what you did in the summer of 1999 after the celebrations stopped? Any recollections what you did in August?
Well, from the May time at Wembley to August time, I can't remember a lot. I was celebrating too much. But yeah, I've got a little idea. I've got good memories of playing Sheffield United at home.
Well, we know what you were doing, and we know what City were doing. They were busy ripping apart Sheffield United. Let's take a little look.
In the next fixture, by contrast, it was the whole Sheffield United side who got the licking. Another Kennedy corner to test Sheffield United's resolve. Was that a hand? It surely was. And referee Bill Richards was well placed to see it. Well, it looked blatant. And what on earth was Shaun Murphy attempting? not complaining, and scores. And Manchester City at last.
So big 6-0 win that day. Richard, what was he doing there? What was that handball?
Volleyball, basically.
Yeah.
It was a strange one. I've done it myself, I think, as well. It's one of those where you want to go and get it and you just miss it and you think, I'll stick a hand up. And unfortunately, that was, even with VAR, I think that was definitely a penalty.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even think VAR would have had a problem with that one. So we scored 6 that day, Paul, and of course, you were on the pitch, so you scored. Any recollections of that? You scored a lot of goals, so any recollections specifically of this day?
I just remember, because obviously they went down to 10 men here. Kev scores his second penalty, which he was fantastic at. But I think when you're a striker and the team's down to 10 men, you're 2-0 up and you're 3-0 up, and you're not on the score sheet, it's that greedy bit of selfish bit of being a striker that you need to have. And I was desperate to get the score sheet. Look, there was games I played in that if it contributed, I didn't mind. But as a striker, down to 10 men, you're at home, you're scoring goals, you're desperate to get in the score sheet. And I think the last couple of goals, I think...
is this you now?
This is...
No.
It's coming up. I think this is the Goats, I think.
Yes, of course, because the goat was also on, of course.
Yeah, the Goat, if I remember rightly, I'm ready to tap it in, and the Goat runs in and just beats me to it. I'm pretty sure it is. This is it, yeah. Near post run coming up, I think.
Second chance, maybe.
I do love rewatching
No, you
these
got actually
games.
won a header here. There you go.
They come towards Dickov,
I'll claim an assist there. I was actually trying to head
Definitely.
it for the goal. I'm not going to lie on that one.
That was your assist.
Yeah. Look at
the
Mark Kennedy's
celebration.
shots. Yeah. They're up round his chest. Yeah.
That was all the rage.
Yeah. There you go, I'm just ready to tap it in and look at the Goat running in there and getting it just before.
I think, do you know what, with the GOAT as well, we've been on this show where we've been playing Guess the Blue, and I've mentioned at half-time what I think it is, and he's stolen my guess.
Yeah,
so
he gets in there all the time. He does just before it. But yeah, we're 4-0 up then, so I thought, we can't win 4 and 5-0 and not on the score sheet. So
there
that
we
was
go.
great.
I mean, we'd be very blessed if we saw a result like this again today, because that was just an incredible day. Also, look at the sunshine as well. Wow. Would love to see some sunshine like that as well.
Yeah,
of course, so you were on the score sheet. Goats was on the score sheet as well.
Kev got 2, Mark Kennedy.
I
should have scored that. He didn't tell me you were going to show that miss. I forgot about that bit. Just show the goals, please. Should have scored that. I think Gareth Taylor got the last one.
Yes, Gareth Taylor, Manchester City women's manager, got the last one there as well. So some real names on the score sheet there. There you go. Love. Good memories, Paul. Does it?
It was a big game for us because we'd obviously just been promoted back in from League One or the old Division 2 back into Division 1, which is Championship now, and we wanted to hit the ground running. So to get a result like that so early doors was a big statement for everybody and gave us a lot of confidence as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a regular on the show, of course, Shaun Goater. So while he's not here, let's talk about him. Let's talk about him while he's not here. But it'll be purely nice things. In terms of as a player to play with, Paul, what was he like? Obviously, we see him scoring 2 there and he nabbed one from you. But what was he like as a player?
Oh, look, we laugh and joke. He just had that brilliant, uncanny knack of being in the right place at the right time. It's something you can't coach. He worked ever so hard on the training pitch and he's finishing all sorts of finishes, head, right foot, left foot, off his shin, off his backside sometimes. But, and I still joke with him now about it, but he was always in the right place at the right time, and it was just that natural instinct to score goals that he had. It was just bizarre sometimes, But
He scored so many ugly goals, didn't he? But he was quite happy to take credit for them, and he was a player as well that you would know going out onto the pitch that he's going to run his socks off. Having Dickie and him up front, it should have made it easier for us, but it was a pleasure to play with both of them. And for Goats, it was that case of just didn't care how it went across the line. He just stuck wherever he needed to be on to the end of it and scored.
I used to love playing alongside him because I knew that if I was going to run and chase somebody down, he would be backing me up and vice versa. And it's something we used to work at a lot.
Yeah, I adore the man, and part of the reason for that, I think, was because of, like you say, he just wanted to score goals. It didn't matter how he scored them; he just wanted to score goals. What were the two of them like in training? Did you do like attack versus defence in training with them?
Dickie was the same. Dickie could just run the legs off anybody, and you would say, leave it, just relax today, Dickie, and it would be no chance. It would just be go, go, go, go, go, constant pressure. So they were a bit of a nightmare in training, and it was sometimes there's people, and I don't know, maybe Dickie was like this, where you can't go 50% during the week and then 100% at the weekend. You have to be on the full time, and that's the way Dickie was in training. He was always 100% in everything he did.
Yeah, I feel like you might have had a day when you'd had a bad night's sleep or something, and you've come in like, oh, I'm just not feeling today. He's like, nope, I'm going to get you.
Plenty of them.
What was he like in training?
He was fantastic. He just, like he was in games. You know, he just used to stroll through it, chuck his body in the line. And we used to have, if I wasn't quite at it some days in training, I was up against Dunne, I would say, go and mark the goat, will you? And vice versa. He would say to me, go and stand in somebody else. We used to get a little pack going sometimes. So if I was running around like an idiot like I used to do, he would say, Dickie, give it a rest, will you? Go and stand on whoever the other centre half was today, and vice versa. So that was good.
I love having you guys on to talk about it because the memories are so amazing. And I had a season ticket in that year, so I would have been at that game celebrating those goals, although I don't specifically remember it, but then I was probably still in a haze as well after the May that we had. But we have had some great games against Sheffield United over the years. Earlier in the season, of course, we had the 1-0 victory. Now, that was a really tight game, and of course, as we said already, it was Kyle Walker that popped up to score, the Sheffield native. There he is. I mean, that's a finish you'd be proud of, that, Paul.
Fantastic finish. I think that was his 100th appearance as well, I think, if I'm right on that one, if I remember right.
Nice research.
Yeah. But no, it's a great finish, and you know, he tries them probably 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a season, and don't always usually fly over the bar or go wide. But no, it was a great strike, and as you said, you know, things like that always pop up, little coincidences, and against his old club at Bramall Lane. So, but great goal. But you know, that's what I was saying about the game today. That was a really tight game, and it took a goal of that quality to settle it.
And we know, we've heard you say on this show before that when you went to Leicester and you played against City, you really wanted to score that. You really wanted to score, and I completely respect that. Did you have that feeling as well, Richard, when you went back to play for teams that you played before, that there was an extra bit of, I want to show them, or?
Yeah, obviously you want to perform when you've moved on. When I left, I played City 2 or 3 games after and scored, and I shocked myself. It was such a surprise, but it is one of those things. You do want to make a statement when you've just moved on, you've gone somewhere else. You want to show them what it could have been or whatever. But
there's different reasons why you leave clubs sometimes, isn't there? And there's different reasons when you go back to your old club why you want to do so well against them.
Absolutely.
Leave it at that.
Yes, I think we are all reading between the lines, sir. So we've mentioned already about the fact that we had an incredible performance on Tuesday. The West Brom game, I have to admit, I was feeling a little bit nervous as we went into the West Brom game. And I think, Paul, it was because obviously we played them not that long ago. It was only December where they'd come here and they'd kept us to that 0-0 draw. So going into it, I have to admit, I was feeling a little bit nervous. You are obviously way more optimistic and confident than me. How were you feeling before the game?
No, I think you're a little bit apprehensive before every game, especially the way the results have been all throughout the season for everybody. And you put the big Sam factor in there. Obviously, he's well renowned for organising his defence and getting people behind the ball. But I just felt that the way we've been playing recently, and the chances and how clinical we've been creating the chances. You know, even the game here at the Etihad, although it finished a draw, Sam Johnson, the goalkeeper for West Brom, made 4 or 5 unbelievable saves. You know, one of them goes in. I know it's easy to say in hindsight, it's a completely different story. So we didn't struggle as in having to break them down. We just didn't have the finish that was to go with it. And then since then, we've been really clinical in front of goal, and especially that man there, Ilkay Gundogan.
Yeah, because he's a perfect example in that 0-0 game. He had that chance right at the end that I think Johnson saved. And now in the game, you know, just a few weeks later, his finishing is unreal. I mean, he's unreal in general at the minute. What do you think it's like in training for them, Richard? Do you think there's an absolute buzz, or are they doing a me and keeping it calm, or are they doing a Paul and like a buzzing?
No, they'll be buzzing. I think when you're playing games and you get on a run and you start performing well, your confidence raises massively, and you can feel a change of atmosphere in the changing room, on the training field. You can feel there's that little bit more sort of drive in you, because you know you don't want to lose this feeling that you've got at the moment, and City certainly seem to have it at the moment. They look unstoppable, and even going back to the start of the season, how they started maybe a little bit slower than normal, it's almost like it was a planned thing to try and hit form later on in the season. And it seemed in certain games they would take their foot off the gas and they would relax a little bit and they would start slower and then go for 20 minutes or something. But over the last couple of months it's been longer and longer and longer and more consistent, and yeah, the form that they're in now, they're going from the first minute till the last minute and they still look strong. So it's something that, yeah, the confidence is high and they'd be looking forward to playing every day if they could.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure for us to watch as well. We see Ferran Torres on the screen there, Paul. Richard mentioned at the start of the show, it's great to see him play, and hopefully this will give him some confidence. At the start of the season, when he did play a few games, I thought he looked really exciting. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do in this 90 minutes.
Yeah, I've obviously got his, he always bobs up with a goal. He scored some really important goals earlier on the season. Obviously he's been out injured and through illness, so big chance for him today. Possibly, looking at the formation with Jesus there back in his more natural position. Been out wide and got his goal against Cheltenham last week, so he shows that if there's going to be chances there, he gets in the right place at the right time, and I think it's he's only 20, is it right? 20 years old? Yeah. So for a young player to come in from being abroad and settle as quickly as he has done and hit the ground running as quickly as he did is huge respect to him and his mentality, and he'll be looking now, especially with the chance today, all the games that we've got coming up, to try and get a run in the team.
It feels like that's a bit of a testament to the club and the players and the staff and everybody, because obviously you've got Torres and also Diaz that have come into the teams from abroad and just slotted right in and just feel comfortable straight away. We were seeing a man, obviously it's been with us a bit longer than that. We've seen Gundogan on our screens there as well. And if we don't all mind, we'll just take a few minutes now just to say how much we love him and how amazing he is. So I hope you're all happy with that. I'm sure you are. He is just in incredible form at the minute, Richard, and he really just feels like the real centre and heart of this team at the minute.
Yeah, and it's perfect timing with De Bruyne being out at the moment, and he seems to be finding himself higher up the pitch, and I think that's almost down to the way the team has transformed over the season, and having that ability to push Cancelo into that midfield means Gundogan has to move, he has to go somewhere else, and inevitably the opposition midfielders get drawn to Cancelo, leaving him in a bit of space, and he's taking advantage of it. He's scoring goals, he's creating goals, he's winning balls back on the edge of the box. He's everywhere, so he's I think it's his best scoring season in his career, so it's brilliant, and it's plenty more to go as well this season.
They are finishes that Sergio Aguero would be proud of. You would be proud of those finishes, say, Paul.
Especially with the left foot. I would have dislocated my hip if I'd tried that when I was playing that. But I love him, and I think he's getting recognition now. But he's scored big goals for the club since he's been here. And obviously, his mentality must be super strong. He's come back from 2 really bad injuries, not always been in the team, but in the big games, more often than not, Pep seems to pick him, and he's got fantastic footballing brain. But I think I read a couple of weeks ago that he was saying that he actually didn't like playing further forward. He wanted to play that in the 6th role, the defensive midfielder role, but he's fantastic. And when you've got people like Kevin De Bruyne out, you want players to really stand up and take the game by the scruff of the neck. And I know we're talking about West Brom the other night there and the goals he scored recently, but the Chelsea game for me, after 10 minutes, we're under a lot of pressure. It was as if he said, look, I'm the main man here. And he took the game, and the whole tempo and the intensity of Manchester City's play, he set it all off.
Do you feel a bit better given the fact that we know Kevin De Bruyne, if not the world's best player, one of the world's best players, is out for the next sort of estimated 4 to 6 weeks? Do you feel a bit better about that given the fact that Gundogan is in such incredible form?
Yeah, and the rest of the team, to be honest. But 9 times out of 10, he's the one that makes things click and gets it going. Even last week, people might say it's against Cheltenham. We were really struggling to break them down. He came off the bench and the whole tempo of our play and our passing picked up straight away, and then we went on and scored the goals. It was no secret that he had influence in the game. Yet again the other night there, and although he's playing further forward, he's popping up everywhere. He's been as the false 9 sometimes. He's stuck out in the left wing, getting things going. He's getting the ball off the back 4, and he's just the complete midfielder at the minute.
And he's also just such a really nice guy. I don't know if either of you met him. I had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple of weeks ago. Now, I can say that it was probably the greatest interview anybody has ever done. And I can say that because the guy on IT forgot to press record. So I did a 15-minute interview with Gundogan recently that essentially was just me and Gundogan chatting for 15 minutes. And it was a pleasure. Have either of you had a chance to meet him? He's so articulate, so eloquent, so intelligent. He's a really wonderful guy.
Fortunate enough to meet him a couple of times, and I think the one thing that hits you is not just his intelligence, but the humility that he's got about him as well. You know, he's a big player. He's played at big clubs. He's won big things, but he's so level-headed. Just like a lot of people don't expect. Footballers can be normal sometimes, you know.
And he really is. He said something so interesting as well. I'm so sad that people won't be able to see it, but he was talking about playing football with his friends on his street when he was growing up, and that he didn't actually join a professional team until he was 15, which I just think is incredible. And he's also doing some amazing charity work. He does loads of charity work. He always has throughout the city of Manchester. Every year on his birthday, he goes to a charity and he celebrates with them. But recently, he's announced on his personal Twitter that he has decided to support the bars and cafes of Manchester that, of course, are shut down as we still are in lockdown in the UK, and he has called Manchester his home, and he is doing stuff on his personal Twitter. If you haven't seen it, you should go and have a look. I think it's an auction or a raffle with the money going to help the people of Manchester, and I just absolutely love that. A really, really big fan of him, and of course he had a brilliant game against West Brom. And we're going to have a little look now back at some of those wonderful highlights. So everybody enjoy the glorious game that was West Brom from midweek.
That is outstanding from İlkay Gundogan.
I see you, Gundogan. I see your quality. I know what you're about.
So can the Blues return to the top of the table once again in what's proving to be one of the most open title races in years?
Hi everyone, it's Esme Morgan here. I'm really looking forward to watching this game and being a guest host on the Instagram story. Come on City.
And City have an opportunity here, and Foden almost scores, and Johnston tips it onto the post to deny what would have been the ideal way to celebrate his 100th game at City.
You know, we're all passionate about our own players, especially when the youngsters are coming through, and you know, we're all talking about being the next whoever. But I think he's gone past that now. I think now he's developing into, for me, does he go on now and become one of the great footballers for this football club? Because the qualities are there.
Stones plays it immediately to João Cancelo, who plays it in the gap with a delightful ball too. Beautifully trapped. Super goal! That is outstanding from İlkay Gundogan.
I try to represent it as good as possible, to give him the tribute, and if it's going so well as today, it makes me even more proud to wear this number.
Little scooped pass and the flag stays down. Here's Bernardo Silva. Now the flag's gone up. It went up very late. Now Cancelo then tucks it into the net just in case.
This is about to be one of the weirdest goals I think you'll ever see. We've scored, it was given offside, and now it's being pulled back. It's a goal, 2-0, Cancelo. They seem to stop playing, but it was an amazing striking off the crossbar, 2-0.
João Cancelo will have his second goal as a Blue. All on towards Sterling. I'm just about dealing with it. Sawyers loses out though. A chance for a third, and it's taken by Gundogan again.
You know, sometimes you have to score goals to get the recognition as a football player that he was all the time, but it's okay. He's an exceptional human being, first of all, and he's an outstanding player.
And up towards Mahrez. Mahrez looking to get in on the act, and he does! It's 4.
I do not even know how to sum up that first half. What a performance from the boys.
Oh, a terrific shot against the top of the bar, Rodri.
These are some serious stats. I mean, we are a machine at this moment in time. You see where the goals are coming from. They're coming from all over the park now, and this is just pure quality.
So they're looking to add a fifth now. Lovely ball, Mahrez. Here is the fifth, Sterling. As City hit the summit in style.
It's a fantastic night's work. You know, it's a clean sheet, no injuries, move on very quickly, Sheffield United.
What a night that was as well. Oh, and what I love about Pep's interviews at the minute is you can see how positive he is, and he's like doing every interview with a massive smile on his face, and I think it also that must tie in as well to the kind of team spirit we're seeing at the minute, Paul. We talk about the bromances, we talk about the celebrations, but the team spirit in camp just now just seems amazing.
Yeah, it does, and I'll go back to what I said before about reminding me of a few seasons ago we won the back-to-back titles, that even Pep in his press conferences and the players before games and after games, all they spoke about was the next game. They weren't looking too far ahead, they weren't dwelling on what had happened before. But you can tell that, when you watch the clips on City TV, or you see clips like this of them in training, they get on really well. They have fun, but when they get on the pitch, that they're serious and they want to make a statement.
I love these shots, Richard. They're just playing around with each other. They just genuinely look like friends.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. When you get onto this run and the confidence is buzzing, and they'll all feel a little bit cheeky maybe amongst themselves and feeling like they're all on the top of their game. So this is sort of the culmination of having that sort of confidence. But I think sometimes when you watch Pep and he's sitting on the bench, and even if they're winning 5-0, you can see him agitated at times. And the other night against West Brom, he was so relaxed and content and just happy, and it was almost like everything they've worked on is just starting to come together, and he looks really confident, and hopefully we see it in the performance today.
Does. I love it. It always makes me happy when to see him all calm and doing happy interviews. Can you remember a time in your career when things were going really well and the team spirit massively lifted, and did that make a big difference as well?
So the first year when I signed for City, the club had come from up 2 divisions into the Premier League, and we went back down, and it was tough. So you start to understand the feeling and the emotion, and people feeling not so confident. And the following season we won the league, and we were brilliant, and we got loads of points, and we were winning every week, and we were the best team in the division, but we knew it, and we felt it, and we felt 10 foot tall walking out onto the pitch, and you feel like it doesn't matter who we're playing, we're going to win, because we've got so many players. We've got Dicky up front, we've got Kevin in midfield. It didn't matter who we came up against. And I think you look at this squad, they know, they trust everyone in the team. Everyone has that confidence in each other, and it's a great feeling when you have it, and something that you want to keep hold of and make sure it lasts all the way through the season.
That's so interesting. Have you been in a position as well, Paul, where like Richard said, the mood has been so high and you felt so good that you just didn't want to let that go, and did that give extra fight as well to your game? Yeah,
it does. Look, if you've got a fantastic team spirit and you're enjoying training, and it's not just within the club, you become friends, and sort of the most successful teams I was involved in, and still friends with the players I was involved with them now, and you can tell that they're not just teammates here, they really get on, and they push each other as well. You've got Stones, Mendy, Cancelo, Mahrez, Sterling all on the bench today, and they'll be desperate for the players that have come in to do well, but at the same time the ones that have come in, we want to keep them places, and it creates a really healthy competition within that. But look, I know it's easy to say when things are going well that the team spirit's fantastic, but you can tell that they've got a real bond amongst each other.
Who was your Bezzy when you were here? Is there one guy that...
Oh, obviously Captain Fantastic over there. Of course. But there was a few of us, there was a group of us that, as well as enjoying training, they enjoyed mixing, is that the right way to say it, off the pitch as well. Maybe a bit too much sometimes, you've got to admit. But yeah, obviously, look, players we're talking about, Kev was a super character, the GOAT, Dunne and Bish, proper character, Weaves, Edgy, you could go on and on and on and on, and that was genuinely the best bunch of players I was involved in. I
think when you look at this show and we come back and other players come back, you can sense that camaraderie straight away. We all get on, we're all talking like it was yesterday that we were playing and we've seen each other, and I think it's a bond that lasts throughout your life rather than just in them moments.
And I think that's why we love having you guys on so much, and we love hearing the stories because they're
got our own bromance going on.
Yes, you have. Thank you. I love the stories. I could just sit and listen to them all day. But there is a game that's going to be happening today at 3 o'clock. Now, as we continue the build-up, we of course something else really exciting to talk about. The Manchester City women's team has now been professional for 7 years. Gosh, that feels like yesterday. And in those 7 years, the club has won 7 trophy. So 747. That is a serious record. We, of course, mentioned Gareth Taylor before, who scored in the Sheffield United game in '99, who is, of course, the manager now. But back in 2014, when the women's team went professional, of course, the manager was Nick Cushing. So, to celebrate this incredible 7 years, the City TV team have done another one of their wonderful documentaries. I absolutely love the City TV documentaries. We are so blessed that we get to have this wonderful team that puts them together. And this specific one is looking at and doing candid interviews so that we can try and understand what was in the minds of some of the key protagonists who managed to create this incredible winning culture over the last 7 years. And you're going to be able to catch this brilliant documentary on mancity.com. So 7 years, gents. Let's have a sneak preview of that now.
Obviously winning this trophy is always going to have a really special place in my mind because it started everything.
So special and one of my best moments in a City shirt, without a doubt. It was the one that we were missing and we finally got it.
It was pressure in a good way. I think the best teams always perform under pressure.
It's definitely a day I'll never forget. It's probably up there with the highlight of my career so far. It's such like a humbling feeling, and it's so nice that all your hard work has obviously paid off.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those moments that I'll never forget.
We class ourselves as a family because we spend more time in and around the girls and the staff than we do our own family and while we're at home, and it's important that we've got that togetherness and that we've got that that culture going, the fact that we want to support each other, we want to win and we want to lift trophies.
I cannot wait to watch that. We are all incredibly proud of what the club does with the women's team and how the women's team have performed over those 7 years, and so excited about the prospects for them moving forward as well. Gents, do you get to watch the women's team much? Obviously, we have a lot of games for the men's team and we have the EDS team. There's a lot of City games. We're very lucky. Do you get to watch the women at all, Paul?
Not so much this season, obviously, but over previous seasons I went down. You know, obviously Nick Cushing's done an unbelievable job starting up 2014. Taking to the success, and Gareth's carried that on. You know, already won the FA Cup this season, and more trophies in the pipeline.
Have you caught up with Gareth at all since he took over, Richard?
No, but I was speaking to Megan Campbell, one of the players there that was on the thing, and she was telling me about how he's working and how it's going with them at the moment this season, and they're really enjoying what he's brought in. Obviously, they've had Nick for a long time previous to Gareth, so it was a step up for Gareth going from the 23s to senior football, and yeah, they've really enjoyed the way he's taken to it, and you can see when you do see them, when you speak to them, they're another group of people who are just full of confidence and looking to play games and looking to win trophies, and it's something now which spreads throughout the whole culture of the club. Is it wants to be successful, and the women's team's no different than that.
Yeah, and the same city, same passion motto is just absolutely true. I have this like weird dream one day, like please, yeah, just stick with me for a second, that we'll see the daughter of a former City player play for the City women's team. Like, it's like this weird like fantasy that I have. I just think that'll be absolutely incredible. You both have daughters. Are they any good? Do they play football? Do they have your talent?
No, Lauren, bless her, she's rubbish. Well, she's getting on a bit now. She was 24 this week, so happy birthday, Lauren.
Your daughter any good? Does she have any football aspirations?
She did. She used to play, and she really enjoyed it. And then my son started to play, and she kept playing, and the two of them would play together. And then she just got to a stage that she just played so she could kick him. So she's probably got all the attributes to be a good defender, I would say. So, but she doesn't bother anymore, unfortunately.
Of course, as fathers of daughters, it must be amazing for you that they have role models, regardless of whether they want to play football or not, that they now have, and that women across the world now have female role models, and that City has really been a pioneer of that in England, certainly.
Absolutely, and there's not just one, there's so many that previous have been with the women's team and currently now, you know, and when you hear them talk, that they're fantastic role models for the young girls coming through, not just young girls, but young kids. You know, I do a lot of work in schools locally as well, and the Manchester City women's team and the players that are there and how they handle themselves is fantastic for young girls wanting to get into football.
Now, I'm being told that Richard Wright's daughter is in the Women's Academy, so my dream may be coming true a lot quicker. I think good luck. I'm going to start looking out for Richard Wright's daughter. I'm going to find out what her name is and start following her. No pressure whatsoever. But yeah, thank you. And again, we're so proud of the women's team, and you do need to try and check that documentary out. And more people that we are proud of course. We are happy to always sit here and talk about Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden. We could easily do that for an hour, and we do it quite often. This week they did I can't wait for you all to see this. They did an incredible interview together with EA Sports and Sky Sports, and it's like a true or false style game that they played, and you can again see the incredible camaraderie and relationships that the players obviously have. So take a little look at this.
True or false, Pep Guardiola said Phil Foden is the best young player he's ever seen.
He loves him, man. He's loving him.
No, it's
your
not
dad.
true.
Come on, it's your dad.
People misunderstood what he said. He didn't say that.
No, he didn't.
I don't think he said it. I think he just said it.
It's okay, Phil. Just admit it.
No,
Tonight
he didn't
you have
say
dinner
it.
with your father at home. Yeah, you do.
No way. No way. I don't think he said it.
I love that. He's just, Kevin De Bruyne is absolutely just bantering him off. But again, it just shows you that the relationship.
It's brilliant that the senior pros is taking the mickey out of him and making him understand itself. But it's great because they're two different ages, almost two different generations, but mixing brilliantly, and it shows the spirit within the camp.
I can't wait to watch the rest of that as well. There is a longer clip available on your social media, so have a look. I can't wait to watch that. I hope Phil gets his own back at one point as well. Now, as always on this show, we love to celebrate the official supporters clubs that are all around the world, and we are blessed to have City fans all around the world. I always like it when this guy is on the show as well, when we start talking about the official supporters clubs, because he's pretty much been to every single one. And when I have a look down the list as to who we've got, I think, well, you've been to that one, and I have to admit, Paul, I thought today, he's not been to this one. There's no way that Paul Dickov has been to the official supporters club in Pune, in the Indian...
Pune, if you're Scottish, I think it is.
In the Indian state of Maharashtra, which was named the most livable city in India, which of course is no surprise if they've got this many City fans. But you've been there, Paul!
I have. I was there a couple of years ago doing stuff with the supporters club, not just the Pune. There was Mumbai. They actually had a sports club from Goa, which travelled 14 hours just to come to the meeting and watch the screen and travel 14 hours back again.
I know Akio from Goa.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very great.
But yeah, amazing time. I mean, I say it all along, India, so fortunate to have been there a few times. It's my favourite place to go. The fans are fanatical. Absolutely. So knowledgeable, but they're crackers. And I love going there.
Yeah, the fans are fanatical, and we thank you so much. So today we are celebrating the official supporters club of Pune.
Hello everyone, it's Ketan here from the Pune branch in India. I've been supporting City now for 10 years, and it's been a wonderful journey till now. In 2016, we were 5 to 6 fellow City supporters. We bumped into each other and we decided of forming a supporters club here with the aim of bringing other supporters together and to create a community of citizens here in Pune. And now, like year after year, we've been increasing in number, and now we are 120 strong. We usually at a supporters club meet at a local sports bar on match days, and trust me, nothing beats the feeling of watching a City game on a big screen along with your fellow supporters, and of course with a couple of beers at your hand. We are the second official supporters club of City to be established here in India, and the interesting part about our supporters club is that out of 120 people, 90% of us are below the age of 25, so it makes us a very young, energetic and vibrant crowd here, and that makes our weekly match days a bit more interesting. and that also makes us one of the most youngest supporters club in India. We've achieved so much in the past decade that practically we've been the most dominating team in England, and we've won 4 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups and 5 League Cups. This season our start was a bit shaky, but the defensive duo of Stones and Diaz has rallied us back to form, and definitely now we're on the right track to win the league, and maybe we can hopefully win the Champions League as well. So fingers crossed for that, and let's go, come on City, back to the studio.
So thank you so much to the official supporters club of Pune. Thank you very much. And thank you for being so kind to our Paul Dickov when we sent him over to you. Now do stick around with us, because at half time we are going to have some exclusive pictures of Paul Dickov in Pune and some wonderful videos as well. We were going to show them now, but kickoff is like 5 minutes away, and I think that's probably what we're all waiting for more. No offence, Paul. Of course, every game as well, we also celebrate our wonderful Junior Blues, and we choose a citizen of the match for every game. Today, our citizen is from Belgium, and of course, his favourite player is Kevin De Bruyne.
Hello everyone, I am Theo and I'm 11 years old. I play for the London Sky in Belgium for the City Football Group. And I am the junior citizen of this afternoon's game. Come on, City!
Yes, we love that passion. Thank you so much, and congratulations for being our junior citizen of the match today. Now, we've literally got a couple of minutes for kick-off, but we need to we can see the players lining up in the tunnel. They're sorry, everybody, you're going to have to hold on because we've not done Guess the Blue yet, and we know that is why everybody is really here. So, quickly now, Guess the Blue is, of course, the game that we play every week here on We're Not Really Here, where we take an old City player and we kind of make him look a bit jumbly, and then we ask the guys in here to try and guess who that is. I know who that is.
Yeah, I know that as well, I think. But I know, yeah. Actually, maybe one or two now, I'm thinking.
The producer's doing a really bad job, because I think that's obvious, and let's not say, but when we go off air we'll say, although I might keep mine quiet because honestly Shaun stole mine a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's you can trust us too, though.
Do you think you've got it?
Initially, yeah, but then I had a little thought, because the last time I was on, I thought it was so certain who it was, and it was somebody different, so...
Ooh, Richard, do you think you know?
Yeah, but I've been miles out on my previous guesses.
You were!
So
I can't remember which one it was, but it was miles out, yeah. Well, it did say in my notes that was the hardest one yet, but Mr. Producer, Tom, you've got to try and make these a little bit harder, try and trip us up. But come back here at half-time and we'll have another look, and the guys will take a guess. And we want to know your guess. It's hashtag WNRH. So tweet us and let us know who you think that is. And I'm expecting to see hundreds of the same player name there, because I do think that is relatively easy today. So thank you so much, gents. Thank you very much for joining me today. And kickoff is literally a couple of minutes away now. If you can't watch it live on TV, please listen to Alistair Mann's amazing commentary. You can hear that on City Plus. And we will be back here at half-time for some instant analysis, and of course back here at full-time. And don't forget, half-time, pictures of Paul Dickov in Pune and the Mystery Blue. We'll see you soon.